What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Magne F, and we're returning to Living With Ourselves 2024. I did want to mention, because I imagine a lot of the folks here will also be following the Savoy journey, I meant to get to Savoy this Wednesday, but it didn't quite happen, so Waaktaar Wednesday will return next Wednesday, and once again, shout out to all the folks who are journeying through AHA, Savoy, and Mags, and at least formerly and perhaps in a couple other capacities in the future, Morton as well. In any case, we're going to listen to the tune Hold the Line, and I'm aware this is a cover of a Toto track. Now, I hadn't listened to it before. The only Toto tune I was quite familiar with is Africa, which I thought was named Rains Down in Africa, but that's just, I guess, the chorus or the refrain, and I think it's just called Africa. In any case, I did give a listen to the Toto original, and it's incredible. I think it's actually even a better tune than Africa. Certainly a more rocking and forceful track with a lot of really powerful vocals. So my understanding is that Mags takes this in a different direction, so I'm prepared for this not to sound like what I heard. But yes, I do have a frame of reference for the original performance of this track. So with no further ado, let's give it a listen. This is, and I suppose I should mention, on that listen to the Toto original, what I got a sense of is that it's about love and about holding the line, which is typically used in the context of like military or defensive positions, meaning don't abandon your post, don't give up on holding this fortress or this position, because eventually we might be able to turn this good. And so if you apply that to love and relationships, the idea might be don't give up, persist, keep holding out hope that you can turn it good and find what you want to happen. So let's give it a listen and see what I can detect in terms of sonic differences with Mag's version. This is Magne F. The tune is Hold the Line. It's a cover of a Toto track, and it's included on Mag's 2024 album, Living With Ourselves.
Hold the line. Love is always on time. Hold the line. Love is always on time. It's not in the way that you hold me, not in the way that you care, not in the way that you treat my friends, not in the way that you stay to the end. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. It's
Mags, it feels much more pained than the original Toto version. I feel like lyrically, if I'm reading the lines correctly and now hearing them again and maybe catching a couple more that I didn't in my listening to the original, it feels like there is a woman who is not reflecting love, or maybe it's the other way around, that like they're not feeling it, but if I'm reading it right, it sounds like the other person isn't acting toward him in a loving manner as evidenced by a number of their actions, but the idea is still about holding out and persisting in that regard. But it feels so much more weary. It feels, like the weight of this disconnect between what could be the case and what is the case is even more painful, is weighing down upon him more heavily. And yes, it feels like the most fragile and broken I've ever heard his vocals. And I've mentioned in previous Mag's reactions that really adds an emotional character, and especially on the disrupted or the harmed end of the emotional spectrum, the way he delivers some lines. And this certainly is, as I said, maybe the most stark example of that. So it's a sadder rendering of the tune, and not just because sonically it's down-tempo, it's austere, it's heavily moody in the sonics, and I think also very elegant, but again, in sort of like a tragic way. But yes, the vocal delivery in particular just gives it this broken sort of quality. So it definitely hits different than the original in multiple ways, but I think it's very effective. It's a beautiful tune, if again in this almost like Shakespearean tragic sort of manner. I do enjoy the particular composition, the very simple piano line. There's some strings in there, and then I don't know what that was at the end, if it was a guitar or if it was like a synth, but there was this like higher melodic line that seemed to bring it all to the fore, like as if, the deep, heavy feeling was now coming out, either in the form of tears or in this plead or pleading to maybe himself, again, to hold the line, even if he doesn't quite believe that will actually allow for the outcome that perhaps he's waiting for, the, love not being on time, and maybe it still won't be. So it felt like the sonic composition sort of matched the emotional progression and maybe descent of the tune. So yeah, very different performance of the song relative to the original, and very effective even if in a markedly different way. So yeah, again, there's some moments where I've gone through Mag's catalog where I was literally weeping and feeling the emotion on that level. This one was definitely close. There was a moment about halfway through where it's like, my goodness, I want to go hug Mags and just sort of pat him on the back. It's okay, man. So yeah, a very powerful tune, a very emotional tune. Looking forward to the remaining ones. Again, big shout out. I know there's a couple folks who mentioned, I think it's the last track. I'll have to see the order, which again, I know the order that they were released on the vinyl, which there's a page for it now on Discogs, but I know it's not the order in which he released the tracks, which is the way we're going through it. So yeah, looking forward to the remainder of the album, and I'm dealing with a Luca who's trying to hold the line in relation to the chair. But yes, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.